Hey everybody, I'm Tony Fleming from Fleming's Ultimate Garage. Thanks for joining me in what I feel is one of the greatest sports cars of our lifetime. And I say that because if you've never owned a 911, they are great cars. And then you take it to level 10 and you put in the C4 and then the C4S, which takes it to 12. I know that math is not my strong suit, so I always like to say, don't listen to my math, just understand my math. Anyway, these right here, wide body C4S, they become collector cars too because the regular 911 is a great car, but this really is a whole nother place. We're going to take a look at some of the things that this car particularly comes with, some things that you get on a C4S that you don't get automatically with many other cars, and the chassis here and things like that, which we can't see. We're going to talk about that as well. All right, so many times I get people say, wow, Tone, that's a great looking car, and I'm always appreciative of that, but a lot of times we don't know why it's a great looking car. So for instance, like the C4S bumper, very different than a standard 911 bumper with the big air intakes there, because these also were Porsche bumpers, letting air in, turbo bumpers, right? Letting air and things like that, and in for these big braking systems here, which you get upgraded things. The chassis is different on these cars. It's wider than a standard 911. Here we have an upgraded set of alloys on here, which I think look really great. A set of Bridgestones as well. Red calipers here. They say Porsche on them, which I think looks really nice. A lot of times we change the color calipers here for people. You can do black, you can do silver, you can do red, right? Let's see. And as we get on to move to the rest of this here, this is factory Arctic silver paint. It's extra cost paint because it requires more cost in the paint itself because it's heavy metallic. And then this is beautiful paint as well. I like to do a paint test on these because so many times pictures can make cars look great, but when we're talking about 20-year-old cars, they need to be great. They need to be garage kept, loved, covered, and things like that. And that's exactly what we have here. So if you don't mind, come on up and check this out. But I also want you, when you're looking at this, to look at the ceiling and the lights and things like that in the paint, because while the paint is shiny, that's not what we care about. We care about the depth of it. So come on up here, check that out. And look how nicely you can read all of those letters, nice and crystal clear. This has a nice couple things too. For instance, this has a painted roof with the painted sunroof as well instead of glass. Because sometimes glass sticks out and it's ugly. This looks really, really nice the way the whole car flows over. One of the reasons I say these are the best daily driver exotics is this. When you have a 180-mile-an-hour car that you can go away for the weekend with plenty of storage and comfort and things like that, this is what you get. So for instance, like here, you can put some soft bags in here. And one of the things I also like to point out is what you should be looking for when you're buying a car like these. For instance, right? Here we have the original decal. This decal, believe it or not, has the option list on it. It would have been put on at the factory. You can't buy the decal. It's a one-time only thing. Why is that important? Well, for instance, if this car was in an accident, right, this hood would have been replaced. This sticker would no longer be there. The color code is there as well. And then inside here is some of the best parts of the car and its originality. And why do I say that? Well, Tone, why are you spending time on the spare tire? I'm going to tell you why. Because if you come in here, the spare tire is brand new. It's never been used, okay? The jack is here. The tools are here. The compressor is here. And my favorite part about this is that the gloves are still here, right? For those of us that might have to change a tire, we don't want to get our hands dirty because we might be on our way to the opera. Maybe the opera, all right? We need these gloves, okay? Unused and still in here. This is what I mean by collector car, unmolested, beautiful, beautiful car, all right? And then this goes right back inside here, like so. Boom. Okay? And then you just close it up, and off you go. All right, so when we're looking at a C4S, you'll tell by other cars that this is a little wider, 2 inches wider than a standard 911's turbo wide, because the chassis is a turbo chassis on the all-wheel drive version here. Okay, and a C2S, right? And a C2S or the other models that they have in there, the vehicle is not as wide. A lot of people didn't know that. Matter of fact, one of the things that I learned along the way too is, but when you're ordering wheels and tires, you can put much more wheel and tire inside these cars because there's more space in there, a la the turbos and things like that, because they were so fast. So I like this view here because I like people to see what other people are going to see, right? When you own this car is really wide, man. It's a full width C4S chassis when it's the same as a turbo chassis. I keep harping on that because they don't make a lot of these cars. They're a lot more money. But they definitely deliver a driving experience that other cars can't. The all-wheel drive is so great. This is wider. It allows bigger wheels and tires. The C2S cars, not the C4S, C2S cars are not as wide. They're sport because they have a bigger engine and transmission, but they don't have the sport chassis that the 4S's have, that share that chassis with the turbo, okay? This is an aftermarket exhaust. I believe that we have the stock exhaust. I'll check on that as well. This has the parking sensors built in, and this is our custom signature, this red S here. We put that on all the S cars that come through the store here. So if you see an S on these, 9 times out of 10, you know it came from Flemings. All right, the last part I want to talk about is inside here, all right? So for instance, in here, so clean, and right? Why is that important? Well, because if it just got to us and we cleaned it one time, we could never make it this clean. And all the original decals are still in place like they're supposed to be. But this has been cleaned, detailed, and loved its whole life. It's been in a garage. It's been covered inside a garage, right? It's that kind of car. Anyway, that's the difference between some cars versus others. Lastly, this right here, the spoiler goes up at 72 miles an hour, or in between 70 and 80, depending on the year of the car. Also, too, you can manually raise it. There's a button inside on the dash right there that you can lift this up if you like the look of it. All right, so when you walk up to these, I love this shot here where you're walking up to the car, your cool car. Maybe you drove to work that day. Maybe you're going out to dinner that night, whatever. It's such a great looking car, right? I like this shot to be seen. However, you're not going to spend a lot of time walking up and looking at it. You're going to spend most of your time inside there, and that's where these cars really shine. And I'll share with you what I mean by that. So come on in here. All right, so come join me inside here. Why I love these cars. So for instance, let me put that seat there. All right, I'm 6'1". There is still great room in here. There's back seat room. I got my seat slid all the way back. This is really a 4-passenger sports car. You can fold the seats down and put soft bags and luggage back there. You can go away if you want to. This right here also has an upgraded audio system in it as well. And let's run down some of the things that you're getting with this car. So for instance, a C4S of this model year would come standard with full leather interior. The full leather interior, what does that mean? Well, Tony, that means that you get a lot of leather. Well, I think it's a little more than just a lot of leather. Let me tell you what that means. These cars had optional leather rear seats. A 911, the option was to take it from vinyl to leather. How crazy is that? However, in this car here, all of these parts are covered in leather. The dash is covered in leather. These door panels are covered in leather. This console, covered in leather, right? All of these pieces here, leather, leather, Alcantara headliner, right? This has real world things like a cup holder, right? If you wanted to have that, you can have that here. Makes it easy, like a real glove box, not a tiny one. Climate control, heated seats. And then here, this right here can be moved and put in manual mode, and you can use these as paddle shifters. So you can either keep it in whatever gear you want as you're coming in the corner, rolling out of the corner, hit the gears up and down. And it's kind of cool to get the best of both worlds in the sense that you can put it in drive, get on the phone, hey, to your broker, right, to your broker. Hey, when it hits 100, sell, right? Because that's my signature statement. I don't care what it is. When it hits 100, I just like to sell it anyway, regardless if it's good or bad. Or you put it in manual mode, and now you've left work. You're having some fun on a windy road. You've got your Bose digital sound system up here playing all its good stuff, and you're having a great day. All right, so we close up this video. Let's run down some of the things we talked about. In the world of sports cars, a used Porsche is probably one of the greatest values that's out there. If you've priced a new Porsche lately, the base price for, this is 2024 where they're doing this video, the base price for just a regular car is $130,000 now with no options. No options. A C4S starts at $150 to $170, depending on the model there. That's why this here with low miles, great sound, great chassis, whatever, is a fabulous car. Full leather interior. The real world livability of it, and a beautiful, beautiful car that's just well taken care of. Anyway, call us 301-816-1000. We'll tell you all about this 911 C4S. And if you don't mind, hit the share button down below there. Helps get our message out. I really appreciate that. Subscribe to the channel. We got new stuff coming out all the time. And don't forget, maybe you want to share it with your friends. They might like to see some stuff as well. And I will see you on the test drive. You know, a sports car is supposed to sound like a sports car. With a sport exhaust on this car sounds amazing. Listen, I know I keep saying it, but it just makes a rumble, man. It just... It's not even 4,000 RPMs with a 7,000 RPM red line. Ooh. You know, know, if you've never owned a Porsche, I have to tell you that in the world of the world's greatest daily driver exotics, there is no better car than the Porsche. You can go to work every day. You can go to the track on a Saturday. You can go to dinner on a Sunday. And then these cars do things. They make you a great driver. Even if you're not a great driver, they make you a great driver. So this is the best of both worlds, where you can just throw it in automatic. If you had to jump on the phone or somebody else wanted to drive it, then you want to get it full manual mode, you click it over, and here's our paddles. And then sound, this has a sport exhaust on it. I believe this also comes with the stock exhaust too, so this is louder than you want, because I give you the standard exhaust that you can put on. Up to you. You make that decision, but this sounds so good. The 6-cylinder, the 4S chassis, very different than the standard 911 chassis, because it's stiffer and it's wider. It is definitely in. So we're gonna hit some curves here a little bit, just for a little fun, little ride. Not gonna go fast, but just so you can see why people buy these cars. Brakes are huge. Rubs off speed so quick, and then you're right on somebody very fast. Anyway, and then back to my original statement. Like, look, I just like it right in here. I gotta make a couple business calls, do a little business, and you allow me to play some hooky for work and go for a ride in the back roads of where we are, which is really great. I really appreciate that. And lastly, comfort. Like, all of this is leather. This is a full leather interior, meaning the door panels. We talked about that in the video, whatever. But when you drive this car, it's a walking crease sports car and comfortable. It's just really nice and easy. And you can see we're driving just like a regular car. This is a car that goes 180 miles an hour. We're driving with one hand hanging out, just chit chat. Anyway, hope you had a great ride. I enjoyed it. Thanks so much again for getting me out of the office today. It was amazing. And I'll see you on the next one.